Hello, guys. Hello, my people. It's your girl Onana, and this is Onana Nation. So, if you're new to this channel, a very special welcome to you. Please go ahead and subscribe, honey, because you would definitely love it here. So, unfortunately, today we have sad news reaching us from Dowen College in Nigeria, where a 12-year-old boy has been killed due to brutalization, ill treatment, and bullying on campus. So the victim here is a 12-year-old boy called Sylvester Omoroni Chidalu. Sylvester, whose parents sent him to Dowen College, which is a boarding school. There's a reason why parents would choose not to send their kids to regular schools and amass money, sacrifice all that huge sum of money to send their kids to a boarding school. First of all, is to give the child quality education to prepare the child for tomorrow. Poor parents, how would they have known? For them to sacrifice all this much money to send their kids to such a school is because they wish him well. They want him to get the best of education and be better placed in society and, have a bright future. That's all they wish for their son. So here's a family that has sacrificed everything to send their child to the best of schools. Unfortunately, it resulted in the child's untimely death. So, and it never should be that way. Nobody sends their child to school for the child to come back in a casket. It's really unfortunate. Let's talk about the facts of this case. My heart is really breaking, as in there's no way you hear this story as a mom and it will not infuriate you. There's no way you hear this story just as a human being who has compassion and it will not make you mad. I feel so angry right now. I feel like going to that school to just go and just destroy everything. It's really horrible. So what happened in Dowen College? Sylvester is a junior sent to this school and they have like senior students in the school. If you have been to boarding school before, you know how it is, you know the drill. Senior students are really mean to us. Sometimes they'll treat us badly and they'll beat you, they'll brutalize you, they'll take your food stuff, even your blanket at night. You'll be sleeping, you'll be shivering. No blanket because a senior student has taken your blanket to cover his bed or her bed. They do a lot of things to us. Sometimes they'll pour cold buckets of water on your body. They'll make you eat your food so fast you bite your tongue. They'll make you shower in 5 seconds. Like, boarding school is just like, it's good that your parents want to give you good education, but we don't really tell them what goes on behind the scene. We go through a lot in those schools. So Sylvester has gone to boarding school and he was being maltreated all the time. Senior students will pick on him, they'll beat him. And then the senior students and the bullies, they always find a child that is an easy target. So this is why it's very important as a child to have a backbone. It's very important as a child to be tough. It's very important to develop a tough personality before going to boarding school because it's not going to be easy on you. But then again, the children are only 9. Some of us go to school at boarding school at 9, 10, 11, 12. Sylvester was 12. What does a 12-year-old know about developing thick skin or developing a tough backbone? He's still a young child going through adolescence. What does he know? So Sylvester was like, the senior students, they saw him like an easy target because he was a quiet child. So they picked on him. They were bullying him all the time. And the time for the holidays came, Sylvester went back home and he was a changed person. Sylvester, that was a very happy and grateful kid, appreciative kid. He went back home during the holidays and would enter the room and slam the door. Boom. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He was withdrawn, acting like all withdrawn, all alone, keeping to himself. And his parents were wondering what is happening to our kid. This is not the same boy we sent to school. He came back from boarding school like a total stranger. What did they do to my son? This is not my son. No, he's keeping to himself, looking sad, looking frustrated all the time. What is happening? So the parents noticed a change in this once happy child that they sent to school. He came back acting all withdrawn, hiding in the room and all the time looking sad. Mommy too was concerned and she went to him to say, Sylvester, my son, what did they do to you in that school? Ever since you came back, you'll be hiding in the room. You don't want to play with us no more. You don't want to hang around your sisters anymore. Like, what did they do to you in school now? Open up and talk to me. And there's something that bullying does to you when you're a victim of bullying. A group of people gather together to bully you. It takes away your fighter spirit, your self-worth. You don't feel like you want to even fight back. It's like you are alone against the whole world. It's like all the cards are stacked up against you. And then they bully you and they even threaten you that, Sylvester, if you call our name when you go home, if you tell your parents anything about us, we'll finish with you. So that's the position in which the poor child was. Even when he went back home, he was still terrified. He was still scared. He could not even open up to his own parents. Mommy kept asking, Sylvester, what is happening now? This is not you. You are so sad and it's breaking my heart. Is there something you want to tell me? Sylvester too will only remember the voice of the senior students echoing in his head. If you talk, we will silence you. If you talk, we will threaten, we will beat you. So as he was thinking about all those things, he kept to himself. He said, no, mommy, I'm okay. Okay, how, my son? You don't look okay. Tell me now. Whatever it is, we can find a solution together. Mommy, I'm okay. So that's how Sylvester covered the story. So while at home, his mom was still worried every day, like, what is happening to my child now? One day, Sylvester mustered enough courage and walked to his mommy And he was like, Mom, can you change me from this school? I don't want to go back to Dowen College. And mommy was like, why don't you want to go back to Dowen College? That's the school where two of your sisters are schooling. Your elder sister just recently graduated from Dowen College, and your second sister is still at the school. So why do you want to come and be the one to tell us to change you from that school? Sylvester was like, you know what? Never mind, mommy. I'm going to go back. If you want to change me, it's okay. Poor mommy, how would you have known that you refusing to change your child from that school would result in his untimely death? How would you have known? So unfortunately, things like this happen today for us to learn. As a parent, if your child ever walks up to you one day in his or her life to say, Mommy, change me from his school, pick your slippers and hoe in your hand, enter your car, drive and run to that school immediately. Say, principal, I'm withdrawing my son from this school. As from today, with immediate effect, he will never come to this school again. When the principal asks, ma'am, can we help you? What's happening? Why are you taking your child during the middle of the school term? Say, no, I know I've paid the school fees and the full money. Keep the money. I want my child. I want my child's life. Carry your child and run and go back home. That's the attitude that parents should be having. Kids don't just wake up in the middle of the night and come to you and say, Mommy, I want to change my school. There's so many sleepless nights that have gone into that decision. There's so many tears that you never seen, that your son have been crying before arriving that decision to muster the courage and come to you and say, Mommy, can you take me away from the school? So if your child, or even if you're just a brother or a sister or an auntie, you're a guardian, your niece or your nephew runs to you and say, Auntie, can you tell mommy to take me out of my school? Run and go to your sister. Sister, as you are seeing me like this here, it's the principal's office we are going to. Now, let's go and withdraw this child, because things that they do to these children, sometimes they don't even have the courage to tell you, but you see your children going through stuff. We've seen neighbors' children that have gone to boarding school and come back, they turn them into gays. That they went to school, senior students were doing things to them, teaching them how to do stuff, turning them behind and doing things to them. Nasty things that you cannot imagine. We've seen children that have gone to school and come back like lesbians. Things go on in boarding school. They traumatize your children, they come back, they cannot even talk. We've seen children that have gone to boarding school and come back, that they put them into cults, deep witchcraft or cultism, that the children cannot even fully understand what's going on, but they've involved them in things that they don't even know where it starts from. So as parents, that's one thing we should be careful of. Every time your son complains about something, oh yeah, go and listen. No. Anyway, that was the introduction of the video. Let's go to the facts of the case. What happened to Sylvester? So Sylvester mommy said that she wasn't going to change his school, and it was the resumption date. You know, boarding school, when they send your children back home to you for holidays, there's a day when studies resume. On that day, your parents prepare your box, they buy all your snacks, your books, your uniforms, and your socks, and your bathing soap, and basic supplies. They fill it in your box, and then they put it in the car, take you and your sister, and then they go drop you guys off on campus. That's what they do. So on that day, mommy had said, Sylvester, no way, I'm not changing you from this school. You're going back to that school. Your sister is there. They packed his box and everything, took him back to campus on the Dowen College, and they let him back to school. The parents kissed him goodbye. They came back home to their house there in Lagos. So Sylvester has gone back to meet his bullies again. And in his mind, the poor Sylvester was like, oh my God, not again. Why did the holiday have to end? Now I have to face these bullies again. I've come back again to hell, to the dungeon. I have to face these senior students again. I wish my mommy could listen to me and take me away from this. How can mommy not see the pain I'm going through? How can daddy not see that I'm withdrawn? This is not me anymore. How can they not see the pain and just understand and take me out of this school? Do I really have to come back to this school again? Really? So Sylvester packed his box and entered the dormitory. You know, as soon as he entered the dormitory, the bully started again, started beating him, opened his box, took out all his food stuff, and, you know, started brutalizing him. The circle just continues. So on this particular day, on this particular unfortunate day, it was night time. 5 senior students walked into Sylvester's dorm room. They went into his dorm and immediately they switched off the light and they started beating Sylvester. They targeted him, particularly 5 of them. Imagine 5 seniors, you know, those are boys who are maybe within the ages of 16, 17, able-bodied, against a 12-year-old. What would you do? The poor child was sleeping in his bed. They entered the dorm. They turned off the light, immediately started pouncing on him, and he was at the top bunk. You know how boarding school children sleep in bunk beds? There's somebody on the bottom bunk, there's somebody on the top bunk. Sylvester was up, they started beating him, and he fell from his bed from up to down. Imagine, first of all, your body will experience shock falling from up to down, and we're beating him and kicking on him and stepping on him and all that stuff. And that's how they were pouncing on him, and allegedly they even opened his mouth and poured a black chemical in it. And that's how the child was crying on the floor, very helpless. The other junior students were just there, and the senior students were threatening them, like, if I hear PIM in this room, all of you guys should be quiet. Like, in fact, all of you guys, if they even ask anybody anything, if they ask any of you anything in the principal's office tomorrow, you mention my name, I will deal with you, I will silence you. So the senior students were there beating on Sylvester, pouncing on him, and then threatening all the other classmates, like, everybody should just keep their mouth shut. If you mention my name, I'll beat you black and blue, and I'll teach you a lesson. That's how they were on the floor beating Sylvester, kicking on him, and they opened his mouth and they forced him to drink a black chemical which burnt his lips and started peeling off his lips and all that stuff. So while the senior students were done beating Sylvester, they left the room. One of the classmates and came back and turned the lights on, only for them to find Sylvester on the floor bleeding profusely, blood oozing out of his mouth and other parts of his body, and he had fractured a few bones and stuff. So they started crying, they started shouting, running helter-skelter, looking for help, concerned about their fellow classmate on the floor in serious pain. So they went to the infirmary and called the nurse, because there's always nurses on campus in school. They went and called the nurse. The nurse came and saw Sylvester on the floor, and with the help of a few classmates, they carried Sylvester to the infirmary. So it was the nurse who actually called Sylvester's parents, like, come on, Mr. and Mrs. Omoroni, come and see your kid in school. I mean, he's not doing well at all. That's how Sylvester's parents ran to school, like, oh my God, they just called me from school. My son is not doing okay. Honey, let's go, let's go. Mommy and Daddy entered the car, immediately rushed to campus to see what's going on with their son. So Mr. and Mrs. Omoroni, on arriving the school campus, they saw their son in a deplorable state, and they were shouting, Jesus, Jesus, what happened to my son? So all of this story I'm telling you guys today is based on the transcript we saw on the internet. So I'm just like reproducing it to you guys as someone who has been in boarding school, to giving a little more insight based on the things I have lived myself in boarding school, and exactly what we saw in that in that transcript online. So yeah, so the mommy got to school and she was shouting, Jesus, so what happened to my son? What happened to my son? With the dad, the son was lying there and he could not talk. He was helpless. Only the wounds and the bruises on his mouth. He could not, when you have so much wounds and bruises in your mouth, you cannot even talk. So the child was struggling with bruised and chapped lips, struggling to talk, struggling to call a few names. He succeeded in mentioning 3 names, 3 out of the 5 names of the boys that beat him up. They really did beat him to a poor child. So the parents were there trying to gather the facts. The child was still in pain. Mommy, my back, my leg, my knees, like his whole body was on fire. So the child was crying and all that stuff. And the mommy, as a parent, you're confused when you see your child in such a situation. This is the boy that you just brought to school the other day. He was okay. He was fine. What's happening all of a sudden? Why is my son like this? You have so many questions. You want to talk to the principal. You want to talk to the admin. You want to talk to everybody. So the mommy and the daddy tried to ask the principal, what happened to my son? What's happened? I mean, this guy was okay just a few days ago when we brought him here. And the principal started defending himself. The principal has a reputation to protect. It's a school, obviously. It's his money he's making. He wants to cover stuff off. But you are a human being. You have conscience. You have kids too. What if this happened to your own kid? For the principal, who was immediately thinking like a businessman, thinking to cover his school, well, nothing happened. Sylvester was playing football with a couple of other kids. It's a fracture he had, on the pitch when he was playing ball. He fell down. So Sylvester's father was like, what kind of football were they playing that my son will fall down and be in this much pain? My son cannot move. Like, he's like somebody does not have any limb in his body, any bone. What is going on here? Mr. Principal, you're trying to tell me they were playing football. What kind of football were they playing? Sky football? Because the level of pain in which my child is, it looks like somebody dropped him up from the sky. Were they playing airplane football? It looked like somebody dropped him from an altitude of maybe 5,000 feet. I mean, the boy cannot move. His whole body is on pains. Like, what are you saying? Principal was there trying to defend himself, trying to be political about stuff, trying to cover up his school. And the father was like, you know what? I don't have time for this politics right now. My son is in pain, and the only thing I need to do, the only logical thing I need to do right now is get medical attention to my son. So I'm going to take him to the hospital, and we'll figure that out when we get to the hospital. And then I'm going to come back to you later. We're going to settle this score, So as the parents were still struggling to understand what was happening, one of Sylvester's classmates came silently and told that, like that, somebody beat your son up. I know they made us not to say anything. They threatened us that if we talk, they're going to punish us and whatnot. But I'm telling you, somebody did beat your child. Matter of fact, a couple of people. That's why he's in the state in which he is. So Sylvester's dad said, thank you for the information, my son. God bless you. We're taking your friend to school. We're going to the hospital. When we treat him and everything, I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to need you as a witness to give me more information as we get to the bottom of this case. That's how they took their son and went to the hospital. The doctor started working on Sylvester immediately. They ran a few tests on him. They did an X-ray and stuff, but the X-ray results did not come out on time. So daddy's a businessman. He had to go back to his business center while mommy stayed in the hospital at the bedside of her son. So they were still running a few tests on Sylvester. He was still in the hospital, still in so much pain. And while they were struggling to figure out what's going on, they called daddy and said, "Daddy, oh, something has happened, no, concerning your son Sylvester." The father, who had gone back to his business, leaving the son in the hospital with his mom. So they called to say, "Unfortunately, your child has passed. Unfortunately, Sylvester is dead." That's why the father started crying. Immediately, he rushed back to the hospital. "My son, what happened? I was waiting for X-ray results. Now I was waiting for results. I didn't expect to hear this terrible news, my son." That's why the family was devastated. They were all crying. And then the X-ray actually proved that Sylvester was being beaten. Cause of death actually is based on all these fractures and wounds and stuff he has in his body. The X-ray shows that he had an inflamed liver. His liver was swollen because of the chemical they gave him to drink. He had bruises. He had broken a few ribs, a few limbs. Bones all over his body were broken, and the back of his body was swollen. His legs were swollen everywhere. These are all signs to show that he was beaten to death. Unfortunately, these are the things that people's children go through in schools where we send them and pay expensive, exorbitant amounts of money for them to get quality education. Boarding school is not like your regular day-to-day school. You pay like times 7, times 8, times 10 the amount of money you pay if your child was going to a regular school. So a parent will make all these sacrifices because they want to give the best opportunity to their child. They want to give the good head start to their child, a quality education to their child, and this is what they get in return. So that school is going to be sued for negligence. They're going to sue all the students involved, the ones who beat Sylvester up. They are the ones who have killed this young child today. They're going to sue even the teachers who were on duty. Everybody in school has like teachers on duty. They're supposed to be making tours on campus. Where were you that all these hours they beating this guy black and blue? He was crying and screaming. You didn't even hear. What were you doing? So there's so many lawsuits loading for this school, and today the public is so mad. There's no way you hear this story you not get angry. Like, it really infuriates me. Why is that school even still standing? I mean, guys should have gone there since and poured a little bit of fuel and finished with the thing. Why is the school still standing? I'm really so mad. So now we're waiting for justice to be served. But these rich people who own big schools, they know people, they know politicians, and they know people in places of power. That's how the lawsuit will go to court, and they'll do one politics, they'll bribe the judge, and the case will be thrown out of court. Meanwhile, there's a family that have lost their baby. He was supposed to be turning 12 today, and the father still celebrated his birthday, even though the child is dead. The father still celebrated the birthday as he had planned to do. The family got the cake, and a few family members and loved ones came together celebrating the child's birthday. Even actress Tonto Dike sent the child flowers and roses, and a teddy bear on the occasion of his birthday. Unfortunately, the child isn't here. That's a child that never got to eat his 12th birthday cake. That's a child that never really got to grow up and, become whoever God had meant for him to be. So there's a family out there that is heartbroken today, and an entire community, all of us, we are pained because of this story. And the principal is trying to cover up. They should start the investigation with him, because this is not the first time people are hearing brutalization stories from that same school. So what are they not doing right? Are they not disciplining their senior students? Senior student doesn't mean you should go and silence people. Kids have been a senior student, so you have a conscience. You have baby brothers and baby sisters that will come to the school after you. What's going to be a reputation? So today the public is just mad. We are all like furious. We want to see justice served in this case. That's the reason why we are all sharing it on our platforms. I'm sharing it on my YouTube channel today. I shared it on my Facebook page yesterday. We are all using the hashtag Justice for Sylvester. And we are asking the school, the Doane College, to produce all the perpetrators, all the kids who perpetrated this act, all 5 of them. Sylvester already named 3 names, but there were 5 of them. I believe if they hold the 3 guys, they're going to cough out the names of the other 2 students. So 5 senior students did this to Sylvester. And across the national territory,